Let's stay with some energy issues. And the last section of the Kumasi metropolis has, over the past 24 hours, been in darkness after the explosion of some current transformers in the city. Correspondent Erastus Asayodonko joins me on phone now with details of this. So, Erastus, tell us exactly which areas are affected by this particular situation you speak of.
In fact, since yesterday evening, most of Kumasi was off. In fact, the only areas that had power was the Barakesi area, where we have the dam, the water reservoir, and the treatment plant. And so they restored power there. That was the only area. And then areas that relied on Angomaso substation also had power. But the rest of Kumasi was in total darkness. And so it wasn't limited to one area. It was, I would say, about 70% of Kumasi was off.
So what's the current situation this morning as we speak?
Well, I went to the substation, the bulk supply point, they call it, at Abinchi, where the incident occurred. And it was as a result of an explosion which occurred on 3 of the current transformers. And these are current regulatory equipment for the ECG substation. Now, residents in the area told me they saw flashes of light around 9 p.m. around that area, and then the whole city was plunged into darkness. Currently, as I speak with you, some areas have power now restored to them. Areas like Asukwa Stadium, Asafo, and its environs have power restored to them. But then upon checking, I also find out that areas like Tafo and other areas are still without power as we speak.
All right, many thanks for that particular update. Erastus Asayodonko will come back to you shortly for some more on that. But joining me also over the telephone lines now is Erasmus Baidu, who is Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Electricity Company of Ghana. He joins us live now with some answers as to what could have possibly caused such an incident. Well, I'm told his line has dropped there. We'll try and bring him back on the line as and when we do have him. And when we do, we will bring to you that particular interview. And it has to do with the current power situation in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. We're told that the situation as of last night was that about close to 70% of the entire Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, was in total darkness because of a particular problem. We were told there was an explosion at one station there that caused this particular incident. Now, the update this morning is that as some parts of Kumasi power has actually been restored to some parts of Kumasi, and our correspondent we just spoke to mentioned that for Asokwa and Asafo, for instance, power has been restored, even though the situation is still the same in several other parts of the Ashanti Regional Capital. Joining me now over the telephone lines is Erasmus Baidu, who is the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Electricity Company of Ghana. Mr. Baidu, good morning. Many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning.
Yeah, fine morning, and Merry Christmas to all.
Many happy returns to you. The only unfortunate thing is my people in the Ashanti Regional Capital do not seem to have so much light to enjoy the Christmas and the New Year. What caused this particular explosion in the first place? Do you know?
Well, thank you very much. And as I said, I wish all our listeners Christmas and a prosperous New Year. What happened was, it was an explosion. And an explosion is like an accident. You can hardly understand how it happened, but it just there and it exploded. And so we had to hurry to bring in the firemen to help us quench the fire, which we successfully did. And so because of that, the whole city was thrown into darkness. And let me say that this one is not load shedding. It's just an accident that occurred. And we are hoping that by midday or around 1 o'clock, we should be able to pick about half of the city.
So, as the situation stands now, is it that you have men working on it now, and the timeline you are giving us is that by midday, the situation should have been resolved?
Yeah, because we have been working since midnight yesterday. And we've been working very hard to make sure that at least we remove all the bent parts and then replace them with new ones. And these are electrical machines, these are equipment. So you need to make sure that at least you go through all the safety standards. And so we are being careful, and also note that it powers the whole city and its immediate environment. And so we need to be very careful. We need to be safety conscious and then take all the precautionary measures before we pick the load. And we'll be picking them gradually as and when we finish. We have invited our men, our colleagues from the sub-transmission division in Accra. And so we hope that when they arrive, we'll be able to speed things up and get the whole city back on supply. So that's what we are doing, and we hope that we should be able to succeed.
I see. Do we know when exactly your colleagues are to join you? And like you said, when they do come, it's going to make things faster and much easier for you. Do we know when exactly they are to get into town?
They are on their way. They are on their way. We sent the SOS message early this morning.
Were there any casualties as a result of this explosion?
No,
no casualties. Okay.
Thankfully, we don't have any casualties.
Okay, right. We'll touch base with you at midday as well for some updates on the situation. Many thanks for your time on News Desk, and that was Erasmus Beidou, who is the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Electricity Company of Ghana, telling us that indeed the situation is currently being worked on, and we should see an improvement by midday. We'll join them at midday to check on that, check on progress of work so far. But away from that, let's do some politics. And the women's organizer of the opposition New Patriotic Party, NPP, in Bimbila Ahwiaso has been stabbed to death. Amina Kande Moro was murdered following a misunderstanding with one Mercy Nanaya Nyameche. Joining us on the phone with more details is Western Regional Correspondent William Benjamin Peters. So, William, what really happened between the deceased and the suspect in the first place?
My checks revealed that the two of them live in the same house, that is a compound house, and the one who perpetrated the act is actually the daughter of the landlord. And it is there are some rumors that the perpetrator is well known for her behavior of engaging in misunderstanding with the victim, who unfortunately has passed on. And what happened was, the resident had some misunderstanding between the two of them, so they quickly rushed in to separate them. So they were separated, and the deceased was taken outside. They advised her, that is Amina Moru, to vacate the place and go elsewhere until tempest calmed down. So she left, but upon going, she realized that she had left the door. She left the door. She didn't lock her door, actually. So she returned back to come and lock the door. And unfortunately, upon her returning, Mercy spotted her, and then she used the other road. I'm told they have two gates to their house. So she used the other gate, and unfortunately, they ended up engaging in another fight where the unfortunate incident took place for Mercy to stab Kende. So residents heard her shouting for help, and upon rushing to the house, they spotted her in a pool of blood. Then they rushed her to the hospital. But unfortunately, upon the arrival, the doctors declared her dead. But the latest information I've gathered is that Mercy Nyameche, that is the perpetrator, has been arrested at Tehuiyo. So the arrest took place this morning. As I speak to you now, police personnel from Bibiani has since been dispatched to go and bring her to Bibiani for her to be prosecuted.
Okay, so from what you say, what I gather suggests that we do not have any political undertones to this particular issue.
Not at all, Chen.
Okay, it was a personal matter, and many thanks for that update. And that was Western Regional Correspondent William Benjamin Peters telling us much more about that incident involving the murder of a constituency executive of the NPP in the Bibiani Ahwiaso constituency. The latest, the update on that particular situation is that the perpetrator, speaking of the person who indeed stabbed this lady in the person of Mercy Nyameche, has been arrested by the police. We are told that investigations are just about beginning. We'll try and get you much more on this subsequently. We're taking a break on News Desk. We'll return with more.